Members of the Board of Trustees, faculty and staff, students, parents, family and friends, I'm pleased to be with you all today to celebrate Choate Rosemary Hall's class of 2019 at our school's 129th commencement ceremony. So let me just go a little bit off track for a moment by taking a moment to recognize, I know some of you, a group is sitting here delightfully, some of you are sitting in the heat in this wonderful spot, but take a look around you because we are flanked on either side by IMP buildings. And as I stand here and look out at our student body, all the way facing me to the back there, from 3rd to 6th, I see a vibrant, diverse community of students who represent 38 states and 42 countries. I'm particularly struck when these buildings were being planned and designed. Our school was far less international and certainly far less diverse. Yet our school chose an architect who in so many ways reflects our school today. Pei was born in China, educated at US universities, and would ultimately go on to create famous buildings across the world. The East Building of the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C., the Bank of China Tower in Hong Kong, the Louvre Pyramid in Paris, the Hancock Tower in Boston, just to name a few, and of course, the arts and the science centers at our very own Choate Rosemary Hall in Wallingford, Connecticut. So I want to acknowledge for a moment how saddened we are by his passing just less than 2 weeks ago, and thank the cast and crew of Rent who honored him on the day of his passing with a superb performance on the stage that he designed. But know that we are fortunate at Choate to be forever blessed to be surrounded in this very spot by his very real genius. Thank you, Mr. Pei. So each year I have the delightful challenge of writing a graduation speech. Some years it's easier than others, and I thought this year was the easiest ever. Oh, you think it's because of you? It is, of course. But for a few months now, it's been clear to me that my beloved, lifelong Leeds United soccer team was going to help me write this speech. So professional sports, some of you said, oh no, they know. This is exactly where this is going. Professional sports teams, those of you that have your team or teams know you pick a team, or they pick you for any number of reasons. Geography, a favorite player, the first game you attended, the mascot, family rules, defiance of family rules. So my team, Leeds United, was picked for me by my brother when I was, I don't know, about 2 or 3 years old. He piled up a bunch of books, said it represented the English First Division, and he told me that Leeds were the best team in England. And that was all I needed to know. I was set. I won't say how close to a half century ago that was, but I'm still set after all these years. So I know you all know your English soccer history, but for the 1 or 2 of you that don't, I'll help you out. Although largely eclipsed today by the giants of today's Premier League, whose names you know, I will tell you that Leeds was arguably the finest team of the 1960s and the early 70s. And equally arguably, they've been trying to recapture that past glory ever since. We have a song, it's called Marching On Together, and the main line of it that gets the biggest cheers is, quote, "We've had our ups and downs, and boy, have we ever." Following those glory days in the 60s and 70s, we had an abysmal 1980s, when I used to attend the games, and until the very end of the decade, when there was a return to glory and we won the last English First Division before the creation of that Premier League. We had a remarkable team at the turn of the century, which doesn't seem that long ago to me, that resulted in a Champions League semi-final in 2001. And as fans, we all hoped that that achievement would provide crucial momentum on a continued path to redemption and glory. Our owner at the time said we were going to live the dream. It ended up being a complete nightmare. Everything, it turned out, was being done completely the wrong way. They overspent, overdreamed, and did not live in any way responsibly. Everything came crashing down in 2004. We were relegated from the Premier League, went bankrupt, and then relegated for the first time to the third disastrous level of English soccer. Leeds United were an embarrassment. Yet despite this embarrassment and having to endure appalling management for the last 2 decades, Leeds fan base, yours truly included, has stayed loyal and true. Even as the team reached remarkable depths of disaster on and off the field, attendance at Ellen Road, our home stadium, remained high and hope remained eternal. We stuck with our team. You like the jean jacket? I figured I'd stay with the costume. The underperformers will know that. And this year, it all changed. With the arrival of a genius manager from Argentina, Marcelo Bielsa, Leeds was going to write my speech. Since Bielsa arrived not even a year ago, he has taken on the grand challenge of restoring an English giant to glory. Amazingly, he has taken a team, essentially the same group of players who had finished 13th last year, mired in mediocrity, and inspired them to believe in themselves, to work hard and to play exciting, attacking, forward-thinking, tactically beautiful soccer. They were now playing in an awe-inspiring game because they believed in each other and because, for once, Leeds were doing things the right way. Where did that belief and commitment start? For one, it started with the most intense ever pre-season of 3-a-day practices, after which many professional athletes, some of whom had actually played at the World Cup, said that they had never worked so hard. And it also started with hard work off of the pitch. Bielsa wanted his players to appreciate how hard fans had worked in order to afford to buy tickets to their matches. He worked out that the cost of a ticket is equivalent to about 3 hours of manual labor, so he made his players go out and work around the stadium in the community for 3 hours so that they would have a deeper commitment, an understanding of their supporters' commitment to them. Said one of the Bielsa players after this experience, he wants good players, but he wants us to be good people as well. How often do you hear that in professional sports? That's not to say they are perfect or they haven't made mistakes. They have. But they handle those mistakes generally in the right way, and they learn from them. So as I said, Bielsa's from Argentina, and there, he tells us, team managers and personnel are allowed to watch other teams' practices. He continued to do so when he arrived in England, and where it is most definitely not allowed. Although brilliantly, in very much English fashion. There's actually no written rule. It's an unwritten rule. It's just not the done thing. When questioned about it, he didn't deny it. He quickly admitted he had sent personnel to watch every game they had played. It was dubbed Spygate. He just was unaware that it was against the rules. The team was fined heavily, £200,000, and Bielsa paid the sanction with his own money because it was his mistake, his fault for not knowing the rules and therefore violating them. He was wrong, but he admitted to it, paid the consequence, and learned from the experience. And then there was the Aston Villa match last month. One of the Villa's players had stopped playing as one of their own players was lying injured on the pitch. But the ref hadn't stopped the game. Either decided not to or hadn't seen it. And at least one of our players didn't realize that there was an injury, and he scored a fantastic and important goal. Bedlam ensued, mayhem for minutes. Eventually, Bielsa realized what had happened, and he ordered the team to allow Aston Villa to walk in an equalizer unopposed. And as a result, in a very important and meaningful match, ended in a tie. So throughout this season, Leeds was playing beautifully, acting responsibly, redemption was all but achieved, and this speech was written. Yeah. A few weeks ago, we were leading the league, and I was planning to share a story with you of patience and persistence, of playing the right way, of positive risk-taking, all resulting in a glorious return to the Premier League and restoration of glory. And then they blew it. At the very last hurdle, when they needed just to win 3 of their last 4 games, they lost 3 of them. And then, just a week or so ago, they crashed out in heartbreaking fashion from the playoffs and their second and last chance to win promotion. They blew it, and they ruined my speech. Or did they? As disappointed as we fans were, we can look back on a season that produced great happiness. I have to think I watched some of the most fun soccer that I can ever remember. They did things the right way. They made us proud, even when they made mistakes. They decided that they were going to play the game beautifully, and that it wasn't going to be about the end result. It was going to be about the journey. As we all know, sometimes the journey doesn't end exactly as you think, plan, or want. It should be about the experience. Was it enjoyable? Was it meaningful? Is it something you could look back on and be proud of? And will you be better for it? So though Leeds will not return to the Premier League next year, I will say the answer to each of those more important questions is an emphatic yes. For me, the season will be judged in a different way than I had thought the speech was going to judge it. But I think there's actually, I hope, written a better speech with more important takeaways. In the end, it's not about the wins and losses, promotions and relegations. It's about creating joy, feeling pride, and overcoming adversity. So were we successful in being promoted? No, but were we successful? Very much so. So I ask all of you, as you move forward into the world, and to your family and friends as you think about it, what is success? Is it where you'll be or what you'll be doing next year? I don't think so. Is it only seen on days like this one, with all the ceremonial pomp and circumstances? Again, I don't think so. As you sit here, think about what measures you will use to judge your success in the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years. Will it be measured financially, with your job title? How quickly you achieve your expectations of yourselves, or indeed others' expectations of you? So I'm going to stand here with my last time speaking to the class as a whole and encourage you, indeed beg you, to look for less traditional and expected measures of success. Look beyond those win-loss columns. Look beyond the trophies. Look at the journeys to them, even when you fall short, especially when you fall short. Look at the struggles and setbacks, the achievements and accomplishments, and the people cheering for you throughout. I believe it is in that thoughtful reflection that you will determine your success. My hope for you, our wonderful class of 2019, in fact my beloved class of 2019, is that you will live life beautifully and in ways that make you proud and make all of us proud. I hope you'll take Choate's statement of expectations with you and continue to live in accordance with it, exemplifying it. I hope that you will make use of your Choate education in effective and constructive ways for the benefit of others, not just yourselves. I hope that you don't think your Choate experience ends today, but that you will continue to reflect upon and draw lessons from it for many years to come. And I hope with the English accent, the scarf burning me up, that you'll remember one of my favorite Leeds seasons is this one. The one where we didn't win the championship or get promoted, but where they reminded me of why I love the beautiful game and my team. I hope you know how proud of you we already are. I hope you know our expectations of you are indeed high, and that we are confident that you will be successful in whatever way you choose to define it. Congratulations, Choate Rosemary Hall, class of 2019.